Instacart is one of the most popular grocery delivery apps out there right now, and their unique model actually relies on everyday people like you and I to go out there, shop for groceries, and then deliver them to the customer's doorstep. So Instacart has signed up close to 600,000 drivers over the past few years, and it's one of the most unique opportunities and one of my favorite opportunities in the gig economy right now because there's such good earning potential. So let's dig into this video and find out why. I'm Harry, the founder at the Rideshare Guy, and before we dive into earnings on Instacart, let's talk about how the pay actually works, because it is more involved than many other services out there. The first part of your pay is what's called a batch fee, and this is typically in the $7 to $10 range, and it's basically what Instacart is paying you to do this job. Now, we have seen some lower amounts, some higher amounts. It does depend on the market, but think of this as sort of the base fee that you get for each individual order. There's also a long distance fee, and this doesn't pop up as often, but if you have a delivery that's really far away from the store, then you might get an extra $1 or $2 on top of your base fee. There's also promotions and bonuses, right? So sometimes if an order has been sitting there for a while and no other couriers have accepted that order, Instacart may add a little bit of a bonus to it. So you need to be careful with these. Sometimes they're worth it, sometimes they're not. Tips is really where you're going to make most of your money when it comes to Instacart, because tips are actually a percentage of the total order, right? So if a customer leaves a 15% tip on a $100 grocery order, you can earn $15 extra on top of the base fee, bonuses and promotions, and any long distance fee that might be on the order. I know that's a lot of information, but the nice thing is that Instacart actually presents all of this information to you up front on the accept screen. So as a courier, you don't have to take any job that you don't want to. You get presented with all of this information and you can either accept or move on and wait for the next job. We've talked to thousands of Instacart shoppers, and the average earnings for a courier is around $15 to $25 per hour before expenses. But like with a lot of gig economy jobs, there is a lot of variability. The faster you can shop, the better shopper you are. The better orders that you take, the quicker you can get these jobs done, and the more money you'll actually make per hour. Out of all the jobs in the gig economy, I would say grocery shopping is probably the most involved, right? Food delivery, you go to a restaurant, you pick up the order, you take it to the customer. I like to joke that it's pretty dummy proof. When it comes to grocery shopping though, you have a whole list of items. Sometimes items are out of stock. You need to constantly be in communication with your customer, and there's really just a lot more that goes into the job. But the nice thing is that for certain types of people, this activity, this sort of interaction with the customers, even if it is over text or phone call, is a lot more desirable than other jobs in the gig economy. Let's talk about some tips that will help you make more money per hour as an Instacart shopper. The first thing that you want to keep in mind is you'll have to test out different times and places, right? Grocery shopping is a lot of peaks and a lot of valleys, right? There are certain people that like to order groceries in the morning. There are others that like to order in the evenings. Depending on the part of town you're in, there might be a high concentration of grocery stores. There might be a low, right? So it really comes down to testing out a lot of different times and places and seeing what sort of fits best within your schedule and what holds the most earnings potential for you also. The other important tip is to focus in on 2 to 4 stores that you can get to know really well, so that if you get a complex order, you can go in there, you know exactly where every single item is, you don't need to ask for help, and you can shop these orders quickly and efficiently and thus help yourself make more money. You'll also want to avoid refunds as much as possible as an Instacart shopper, since your tip percentage is based off of the total order value, right? So if you have a $100 order and $20 has to be refunded because those items weren't available, you're now only going to get a tip based off the $80, right? So any item that you can't find, you always want to try and find a suitable replacement for the customer. One item that I like to keep an eye out for is alcohol, right? If you go and get a $50 bottle of alcohol for someone and they're leaving you a 10% tip, that's $5 for just a few seconds of work, right? So there are certain items that can really provide you a good bang for your buck when you're shopping. Now, my final tip is just to stay in good, constant communication with your customers, right? There are a lot of situations that may come up. There may be items out of stock or things that you have to replace, and your customer isn't going to expect you to know everything about their preferences, but as long as you keep them in the loop, I think you'll keep most of your customers pretty happy. Shopping for Instacart can be a lot more involved than other jobs in the gig economy, but I think it's one of the best options out there right now because there's almost no expenses. You're going to spend most of your time shopping and then delivering to your customers. So if you're someone who doesn't mind getting to know a couple stores in your neighborhood, staying in constant communication with your customers, and then quickly and efficiently shopping large orders, I think Instacart could be a great gig for you.